Right. Hey, the news was out yesterday. Travis Williams was you guys' nominee for the Broyles Award, and I'm guessing maybe you had some input on that. And what was the decision there?
Well, I think that he's done a really nice job in all facets, of being a role model to these guys, getting them to play hard. We certainly have improved um, statistically, and he's done a really nice job, and so I felt like he's done as good a coaching job as anybody on our staff, and certainly we have some other guys that could have been nominated for it, but I just think the statistical difference in what we've had this year has been a great improvement, and I think he's earned that.
Yeah, we didn't ask you on some injury updates other than Kudus this morning, but I think you've got like Braxton and Singletary and Jashad Stewart. Are any of those? What's the updates on those guys?
Stewart's ready. Practice. Oh, excuse me, Jashad. I thought you were talking about Keon. Jashad probably won't play. Braxton, he's practiced, been in green. I don't know if he'll be healthy enough to play or not. And who else did you say, Tom?
Oh, well, Singletary, I believe. And
Singletary's practiced as well. I don't think he's full speed yet, but we still have a lot of time. But he's practiced, and so he'll probably be more game time. What he does in warm-ups and all that. But Braxton's probably the furthest. Him and Stu are probably the furthest away. I don't think Stu will be able to play, but I believe Braxton might have an opportunity to.
For Stewart, you got to feel bad for him because he's been dinged up a lot of the year. What's gone on with him?
I hate it. And what a great kid from Arkansas, loves the Hogs. Just it seemed like one nagging injury after another, hamstrings, growing pulls, things of that nature. But it's a little bit, happened last year as well. So we've been working on his flexibility and things of that nature, but he's strung tight now, and we know that, and we've tried to work with some massage folks and stretching and all that stuff, and just been unfortunate for him.
Yeah, Sam, you've got another crop of seniors that technically have that extra COVID year available to them. I'm curious if any of those conversations have started yet. Like, do those happen sooner now that there's no bowl game, or does that change the timing at all?
No, I don't think so. I mess with them when I walk by them, and think, what number you want to change to next year. You like your number, or, like Hudson Clark, I'm messing with him all the time about if he likes Gatorade or water at practice, and just mess with him. But no, not really. I think all those things are still probably Monday after the Missouri game. There'll be a lot of things happen that day, I'm assuming, as far as we want to find out who's going to go in the portal and who's going to stay, and who, all that kind of stuff. That usually starts happening Monday, and we understand there'll be kids that go in the portal. There'll be kids that go in the portal in every team, and we'll see what happens on that day. But that we'll probably save it till then.
And you mentioned on the SEC call this morning about how important KJ has been to the program, and hopefully you can send him out on a high note. But he's another one of those guys that technically has an extra year. I mean, are you operating under the assumption that he's got 2 more games left and then moving on to the NFL, or is there a chance for him to come back?
Yeah, he sure hasn't. We haven't spoke about that either with him. I think probably going into the season, we thought definitely this would be his last year, but I don't know where he stands right now. And again, the portal doesn't open up for a week after, or 8 days after our game, or whatever it is. So we'll have plenty of time to sit down and talk about it. But I don't think, usually used to the senior walk really meant something, and it does to the guys that definitely know, but I don't know that the guys that are out there walking are necessarily not going to do it again next year, obviously with the COVID +1.
Greg.
Andrew basically took both of my questions, but I was wondering how KJ is responding to everything this season in terms of, being the leader that he's been and kind of the face of the team in a lot of ways, with the senior year not going the way he'd hoped.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's been disappointing to him. I mean, if his actions in practice and his leadership on the team are indicative of how he feels, I mean, he feels good. The problem has been all year that we've really never got into a rhythm, a consistent rhythm, either running the football or giving him time to throw the ball. And so I'm sure that's been very frustrating to him. Been frustrating, to be honest with you, for all of us. But he's been good with it. He's gotten hit. He's played through the hits the other day. He was bleeding on his left hand and did not want to come out, did not ask to come out. So I think that tells you a little bit about what he feels about the program and where he wants to finish strong and things of that nature. So I've been really, really proud of him because, you usually can tell a lot about a person when they're going through tougher times and whenever everything's going real well for them. And so I've been real proud of him for that.
Last year, you told us to buckle up, and there was, I think, 24 players that entered the transfer portal. Would you expect it to be anything as wild as what we saw last year, or more tame?
Man, even when I was buckling you up, Trey, I wasn't ready for that express train. It was. I knew, there was going to be a lot. I don't know. I don't see anything like a year ago, but if it is, we'll adjust. But I don't see anything like that. The first thing we're going to try to do is look at the +1s that, obviously can help the team and things of that nature, and talk to them and see if we can get that going. But there's always, and there's always that one or two guys where you're going, man, I didn't see that coming. And but otherwise, I think we pretty much know at this point in time in a season, you can kind of tell by mannerisms and things of that nature who may go in the portal and who may not. But there'll be a surprise, I'm sure, like every squad has.
By +1, you mean the 18 seniors that have another year?
Yeah, the COVID. Yeah, the COVID guys. Yes, you can get that 5th year from COVID. Those guys.
You kind of answered it a little bit, but you expect a decent number of those guys to come back? I know you said you hadn't talked to them, but just
I do. Yeah, I really do. I think, I think we'll have a high number of those guys. I think, the way the season's been, obviously everybody's disappointed. And of course, we have 2 games, the season's not over. We have 2 very important games. But I think with how it's gone, I think the team, for the most part, I think the kids want to be here and they don't want to leave out. I think we had some success, and I think they want to go back and prove that we can have it again. And so I think a high majority of those guys could come back.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Mason.
Yeah, Coach, we've seen some JUCO guys reporting offers from you guys. I was wondering if there's a specific position that you guys are looking for in the junior college ranks.
Yeah, I think there's several. And I'll say this: I don't know a lot of difference right now in JUCO and portal transfers. They've played. It depends on what their competition's been, all that kind of stuff. But certainly. We've got to do something with the offensive line. And then you can look at each position we have, and you probably, in all honesty, could have a pretty good idea because you're familiar with the program and follow it. And you could probably have a pretty good idea of where we might go in the portal or in junior college to to enhance our football team. And I don't want to specifically say that. I think everybody knows that we've got to go get some offensive linemen. But other than that, I'd rather not really go into much further than that right now. But we're certainly trying to improve our football team. And there are positions that we need to do that on. Obviously, I just don't want to talk specifically about those, if you don't mind.
And then I saw last week you were at that event with Justin Moore, the NIL event. I wanted to ask you, as far as your program goes in NIL, are you kind of pleased with where that's at, and how much are you talking to recruits about it when you have them in and all that good stuff?
I think everybody wants more money than they want a pool of money that collectives can bring that can help your program and make you competitive around the country. We're not talking specifically about that much. That's really with the NIL department, but the money, the funds that are there, obviously we need to grow that budget. And once we do that, we can become obviously more competitive in recruiting.
Thank you.
Daniel.
I was wondering, just as the season has kind of progressed, has you or anybody else's on the staff's like communicative style changed or shifted, or have you felt the need to do that at all?
I'm sorry, are the way the style we're coaching with, or the schemes, or
More just in communication, not by schemes.
with the kids?
Yes.
No, we pretty much been status quo how we do things. I think you start doing a lot of changing. I think you have panic in the building, and it's worked in the past. It will work in the future. We got to find a way to win close games and things of that nature. But no, we haven't really changed a whole lot communication wise with the kids.
And then have you had to shift your message at all in terms of like recruiting and on the trail? Just given, I mean, how do you handle when kids ask you maybe perhaps about this season's results or how the season's been going?
Well, I just, it's recruiting, I mean, you can handle it several different ways. You can handle it as, hey, we need you to help us win the close games, or, we're losing guys at your position, whatever it may be. But no, I don't think there's a lot of difference in what we've done in the past as far as where we're at recruiting. We've got, I think it's 18 guys committed to us, and I think probably the most we'll do after that is coming through the JCs or the portal, depending on how many scholarships we have available. Some of those guys we probably haven't even talked to yet, to be perfectly honest with you. The junior college guys, they want an opportunity to play right away, and so they have to come to me. They have to come watch a game. I can't tell them where they can play right away or not. They come to watch a game, watch us on TV. They'll figure out whether they think they're better than somebody that we have on the field now. And if they do, then obviously you have a much better chance of getting them.
Jackson.
Hey, Sam, any chance this rest of this season, especially with Patrick's injury, that you could maybe get Devin and Andrew on the field together? And then, just moving forward, that's 3 young O linemen when Patrick returns. Is there any way to get all 3 of those guys working together on the offensive line?
I think the way that could happen is you could move. I think the only one that you really could move inside is Kudus. And certainly we've had discussions about that. But certainly to get them all 3 on the field at the same time, Kudus would be the guy to move inside. I just think you're going to need spring ball to do that, but to get them all on the field, that would be the way to do it.
And is there one of the 2 between Andrew and Devin who maybe would be better flipping over to the right side.
Yeah, I think Devin would be better staying at left, and Andrew would be better. Chambly, yeah, Andrew would be better going at right. Devin would be better staying at the left side because, well, I don't know that for sure, but we have done that already with Chambly in practice, and he seems to be doing just fine with the ability to do both.
Gotcha. And it wasn't much, but the record seemed to indicate, Dozier did get a snap against Auburn, his first time playing, I think, since Western. Any chance maybe he gets some action over the last 2 games?
He sure could. Obviously we've got really the guy that's probably because of the number of games left that we're watching is Graffard. Ian, he's at 4 and we would like to keep him there, to be perfectly honest. So the other guys have opportunities to play. Certainly we would rather Dozier play in a situation that's certainly different than the one he got into the game the other day, but it just helps some comfort knowing that you can put them in the game, but there's really not a plan for anybody that has not played a lot of ball to necessarily get extra time. Maybe Augusta, maybe him. He may play a little bit more Saturday.
Thanks, Sam.
Wrap us up, Trey.
Yeah, I just had one, Coach, just off of what Mason said, but compared to your peers, do you like Ole Miss, Missouri, Auburn, et cetera, so on and so forth, do you feel like Arkansas has the NIL resources and NIL programs that allow you to compete on a similar level when it comes to players?
I think there's no doubt, Trey, that we have the resources and all that. It's hard to know everybody's budget. It's hard to know all budgets. I don't feel probably that our budget is as big as a lot of the schools in the SEC, but it's hard to know that because you really don't know. You just know what other kids, where they come in recruiting, of what NIL can do for them at other schools, and it's a lot more than what you could imagine, to be perfectly honest with.
Would you be in favor of legislation to make that more open and put caps on it, or are you fine with the way it is now?
Well, I'm not fine with it at all, the way it is now. But I think there has to be some type of, if we're going to be an NFL type franchise, we probably ought to look at what the NFL's doing with their incoming, with caps, incoming players, because there's some guys on the team, Trey, in all honesty, that came in without NIL. And so the NIL is certainly a big part of recruiting, and you've got guys on your team that started for a while or whatever. And it's just like the NFL, where they had a starting left tackle, and then the rookie a long time ago came in and made a heck of a lot more money than he did. It's just, it's wild, to be honest with you right now. And so something has to give in legislation, because I remember 2 or 3 years ago when the kids at Texas, if they played O-line, got $20,000, in NIL endorsements or whatever. And I remember at the time going, man, we can't recruit at all. And now that's a drop in the bucket, so it's rapidly increasing. It's not monopoly money. And so we're in trouble in my opinion, across the NCAA with because it's not monopoly, it's real money that's being paid out there. So yes, I'd be all for somebody putting some type of restrictions on it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.